CBN organization, creating opportunities and doing everything possible to to ensure that we have pathways to success. On our part, really, we also have a couple of social innovation initiatives on nonprofits, for that matter. One of them is really the Transformation Institute, which runs our youth mentorship program. And then in 2020, actually, I got connected actually with Dr. Julius Garvey, son of the Honorable Mosiah Garvey, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we set up actually the Marcus Garvey Institute, which would actually put forward the principles and precepts of success that were espoused actually by his dad, Marcus Garvey. So a number of these opportunities are here, and we have so many people within the community who are a part of some of these initiatives, etc. And it's incumbent on us actually to continue to do better.
Excellent. So I've just turned on the Instagram live button, so we're broadcasting my face, my voice, and Moses's voice via Instagram. So for those who don't know, Moses is CEO of Afro Global Television, and we're going to slide into talking about this event that's coming up on the 21st of Saturday, your Excellence Awards. Can you give us a little background on how that came to be?
Yeah, so the Excellence Awards Gala is happening this year, actually on Saturday, the 21st of October 2023, and this project is actually quite amazing. It's presented by the Afro Global Television channel, and I'm actually pleased to actually say that this year is quite unique because we essentially have the command of HMCS York from the Royal Canadian Navy, who will be the MC. And that will be alongside Linda Osifo, who is an actress. She grew up right here in Toronto, actually, and then went back to Nigeria and became a fairly major breakout star there, hosting, TV programs, reality programs, and then, dramatic films as well that have been actually quite amazing. Now, in regards to the question that you asked as to how or when, this, project came to be, like I had indicated previously, the Excellence Awards program was actually really established so that we can, literally harvest role models, success stories, people who would be there to serve as mentors to young people. For many years now, we've been running the Crossover Youth Mentorship Program that involves youth from our community. Some, in fact, even from foster, from the foster care system. Sometimes it's really heartbreaking. I remember actually one year when we had, a number of young people who were actually sponsored to attend the awards gala. Most of them were stepping on a red carpet for the first time in their lives. And one particular one did not even have anything to wear. So we had to go out and buy a suit, a tuxedo actually for this kid. Who did not, have a connection to the real parents or anything like that. So these are the kinds of really good works that we do in the community through this. The genesis of it is such that, looking at what was on television, even print media, even listening to radio, it was very difficult to find successful people of African descent or Blacks. And by doing this, now we literally have hundreds and hundreds of people in banking, in technology, in entrepreneurship, in community service, and so on. So it has actually really served its purpose, very well. And this would not have been actually possible, Dr. Vibe, you were talking earlier about sponsorships and the importance of that and that kind of thing. We are really pleased that, for the last several years, we've had, RBC, we've had TD Bank, Ethiopian Airlines, and African Foods, Western University actually came on board this year for the first time as a sponsor. We've had, even Fortune 500 companies like EY, and PwC and so on coming on board as sponsors as well. And then aside from that, we've had some community partners as well, because this is really one of the finest stages, available in our community for our leaders, community leaders, and some to step on it as well. And and not only share information and, anything pertinent about their work, but then also be there and identified as role models, success stories as well, through their participation with us in making this happen. So that's how it has been. I remember actually way back, we were in Ottawa at the time before moving to Toronto, and our studio was on Bank Street, downtown Bank Street, and the residence was on the Quebec side because it was a bit cheaper there. You can get a better place, in Gatineau, comparatively, and so we're actually in the kitchen and the living, and moved on to the living room, sat down and began to actually sketch some things. This was actually in 2004. The same year when we arrived in Toronto, we launched the awards program. Initially it was called the Planet Africa Awards, but then it actually metamorphosed into the Excellence Awards gala presented by, Afro Global Television. The other thing that I just want to quickly mention is that last year we actually launched another initiative called the 100 Most Influential Black Canadians initiative, and that is actually an amazing initiative that has taken off and been received extremely well. Because each year for the Excellence Awards program, we only honor 16 people, right? In leadership, enterprise, science and technology, community, categories like that. But then some of the people whom we honored maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, they have done even greater things and all of that. So we decided to actually launch this particular initiative. And our goal, is soon actually to be able to publish a book that would profile this, those who are honored in the 100 most influential, so that we actually have, them in place and fully recognized and so on. One thing that I just want to quickly mention is that aside from the broadcasting, the special events, we of course also do the publications, right? One thing that I would like to say is this. I remember, I think it was 2018, we were invited actually to Ottawa, right there in the center block of the Parliament building. We're having cocktails, conversations were going on. And I noticed someone walking through the crowd actually asking. And so then someone pointed at me, almost like to say, it's that guy. So this guy walked up to me and he said, "Hello, you're Moses Mawa?" I said, "Yes, I am." And then he said he was from the Prime Minister's office. I was like, okay, what's this about? And he said that, look, the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister is actually responsible for appointing people to boards of parastatals like Canada Post and, so many others, etc. And, that they had been told that the person to talk to in terms of, access to profiles, information, and that sort of thing in terms of the Black community is Mr. Mawa. So that's why. And I was like, wow, right here in this building, Parliament, it was really incredible. And that's how we decided actually to move things forward in a number of areas as well, particularly in recognition of the fact that sometimes you do your thing and you never know actually what is being noticed or recognized. And that's why, in fact, when we did our Black History Showcase in February this year, actually, we got a video from the Prime Minister and basically calling Patricia and myself by name, and expressing gratitude for what we are doing. And when you see some of these kinds of things, you know that it's good. The only challenge, like you said, Dr. Vibe earlier, is that a lot of these things that you do, sometimes the resources are not there to match the vision. So it's a stretch, and sometimes it can put a strain on your family, which can be really hard. And so you have to just make sure that you balance. And one of the gentlemen that I really, really admire in our community is Ryan Knight. The fact that he actually had to go out and walk, his kids to school, and then subsequently come here. That's what a real gentleman, a dad, should always do. So we have to actually do our best to split, our energies, and make sure that sufficient is allocated to take care of our families as well.
Wonderful. Ryan, are you with us? You have to unmute yourself. Ryan, can you hear us?
How's that? Are you hearing me now?
We're hearing you.
Is that better?
We can hear you. You're frozen, but we can hear you. Okay, there. Well, it's okay. It's not
And
bad.
Again, thank you, Moses. One thing that I wanted to ask around. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you feel comes like after the Excellence Awards? You mentioned, hey, the Prime Minister mentions you by name, yet the resources don't really follow. So what would you want to see resource-wise supporting Black media? Dr. Vibe and I talk a lot about what are the resources out there for Black media, and we'll hear talk, but not really a lot of action. So what would you want to see really to support the work that you do?
That's really one of the most important things that needs to be looked at. And at one point, we had reached out actually to the Prime Minister, who were actually funneled through even as far as the Privy Council, which is one of the most, the key organs of government, and that went on subsequently to the CRTC, because the principal concern was, broadcasting at the time. And then conversations looked to the Minister of Canadian Heritage. So subsequently, we had a major conversation with the Chief of Staff, to the Minister, and the lead senior policy advisor, in terms of broadcasting for the government of Canada, was actually on that conversation as well. And it was all about the fact that Black media really needs to be elevated. Some time back, we had actually come up with the Black Media Association, which basically I think we need to rekindle, for us to connect together. Extremely, open to presenting it, calling just a general meeting, sitting down, having discussions about how to proceed with it, forming perhaps, a board or something like that, so that we have one entity that would advocate for print, digital, broadcasting, media, and that sort of thing, because the need is very, very, very significant. One of the things that Ryan, you and I actually had talked briefly about some time back was the fact that even as we now have, funding, let's say, for Black entrepreneurship, through the many organizations across the country that are being actually funded, are they able to maximize their capacity, to reach out to every one of us who has a business or who has a dream to start a business? Probably not, And then obviously one could just use the mainstream established sort of media or platforms and so on, but will that reach everyone? Will that be able to capture the imagination of the person who is out there? And many of our people are still unplugged, not just, cable and all those kinds of things, but in fact, one of my best friends, he's not on Facebook, he's not on Twitter, he's not. I said, how do you survive? But guess what? He's a really serious business guy. So and that means we need so many ways and avenues to be able to communicate and to get things going. So you're right. Things really need to be worked out and enhanced. And we also need to try to see if we can, build bridges and work out arrangements whereby, production such as this one, can be enhanced and reworked and maybe reformatted, and made available on television as well. Because you see, even down in the US, big shows like the Revolt show, or and many others, they're actually available online, but they're also available on conventional television, so that you're able to reach some of those people, especially the older ones who are not on smartphones and so on, so they can actually, participate in what is going on as well. So that requires a certain degree of partnership or relationships that need to be kind of worked out. And but aside from that, in terms of funding or financing, entities like this, it's also really about working out relationships and being creative. Because you have so many of the organizations that are actually potentially funded, and and all of these funding sort of things, there are budget lines, for marketing, from communications and things like that. If there is any way to actually have arrangements or conversations where some of those resources can be allocated to media that's actually within, I think it would really help, as well. But I'm pleased to say that we've had businesses in our community that have been there, almost since day one, sponsoring and supporting and so on. That has also paid off, because they get back the return on their investment, which actually continues to power the business to go forward.
Okay, got a
Nice.
question here. I want to make sure that we get to Moses, but want to shout out Tim Frey. Good morning, Tim Frey. Hope you're doing fine. Shirley J of the Black Canadian Content Career says, thank you to all of you, Dr. Vi, Brian, and Moses. You're doing a great job in our community. We received that. And question from Ray from the Macmillan Group. From Moses, what would you say has been the catalyst to your growth and focus over the years? And how much of it possibly attributed to your upbringing in Uganda?
Okay. So let me actually first of all give a shout out to Tim Frey, who made a comment there. And I know that he has had quite an experience, especially over the last 1 year or so, having lost his brother. So my bro, condolences, and hoping that the family is continuing to go forward strong. I actually had a similar experience, actually. Last year, August, 12th, my only sibling, my sister, actually, the Honorable Jessica Ario, passed away of cancer, and it was a very, very difficult, experience. And we had actually taken her from Uganda to India, and then from India to the US, in Houston, Texas, where unfortunately she passed on. But then, just a side note, back home in Uganda, and one of the reasons why I travel a lot is my sister and I had set up an FM radio station called Radio Amani Limited, 89.1 FM. And the radio station is it's really big, in terms of its reach. So it's actually in the northwestern part of the country. So the signal reaches South Sudan, the Congo, and of course Uganda as well. So and it kind of is a segue to the point that you said, in terms of how my upbringing, how that has played out in terms of enabling me to do what I'm actually involved with doing. It was quite an interesting experience, growing up. My dad was actually a civil servant, police officer. My mom actually, stay at home and would be doing some business things as well, which really helped. But then, I've had the opportunity, the privilege, of course, to live with uncles and aunties and all of that. Because of some of the challenges of the time, it was really difficult. Sometimes, even where to live, how to live, and so on. For some very long periods of time, you may be with one relative or the other. So those influences also affect you in terms of how you grow. So that's how it's kind of played out. I think there was actually some statistics undertaken that probably the most entrepreneurial people in the world might actually be Ugandans, if not Nigerians or
Okay.
Jamaicans.
Jamaicans will challenge that. We'll
I
see.
know. So everybody does something that they have to sell, hustling, right?
Yes.
So whether it's agricultural products that they have to sell, or someone has a spare parts, establishment and things like that. So it is really, interesting. And like I said initially, coming to Canada, going to Carleton University, pursuing this degree in film studies. While pursuing that, looking at how things were really not good in terms of the presentation or representation of people of African descent in the media, that's when I decided actually to get started with Silver Trust, right? And none of this would have actually, led to where we are at now had it not been because of the incredible contributions of the amazing, my beloved Patricia Baby Mawa, right? Extremely hardworking and so on. And the good thing is that her background, because I am from Uganda, East Africa, but she's from Nigeria, West Africa, right? So she was involved with the media there before. She had a daily talk show, Conlin program, on conventional television. So you can imagine actually what that means live, and several other kinds of, projects as well. So I had started a company in way back 96, actually. So by the year 2000, that's when she came to the country. And then, the following couple of years, things, developed. And not only did it develop on the business side, but then it so happened on the personal side, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it played out. And I was so privileged to have met actually, Ted Rogers, who was actually present in terms of giving us the window of opportunity to have our show Planet Africa on the Omni Television, platform, and then that continued to expand, to grow, and subsequently by 2016 we were actually able to establish, the Afro Global Television channel. And as I indicated, right now it's on Rogers Cable, it's on Bell, it's on Telus, it's on Eastlink, and we're in negotiation also to have it on Shaw Cable as well, which is now a part of Rogers Media, and then the desire is really to take it to other parts of the world as well, particularly the US, the Caribbean, and then the continent of Africa.
All right. So the IG live portion is now going to stop. If you want to catch the rest of this conversation live, go to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel or watch the replay. As always, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. So I'm just taking a look here. Tim Frey says, "Thank you, Moses." So he hails you up, Moses.
Yeah.
Moses, what do you want people to leave with after this upcoming event on October 21st? What do you want them to leave with in their mind and in their hearts?
I would like to basically emphasize that what they would leave with in their minds and in their hearts will be what they will discover at the gala. So they gotta come. Take out time to attend this year's Excellence Awards Gala. It is going to be spectacular, And we went actually to a venue the other day to basically look at, talk to the technical people, lighting, sound, all that, the video content. It's much of that is actually currently being produced. And we also really had the privilege of connecting with our MC, Captain Paul Smith of the Canadian Armed Forces, commander of HMCS, York, who will be literally commanding the ship. That's the awards gala that day, as MC, right?
Yes.
And alongside Linda Osifo, the award-winning actress. If I may say this, Linda Osifo was actually a part of our youth mentorship program way back, right? And now having really become this major star, including Desperate Wives of Africa, and major films, TV series, and then she's also hosted a game show and so on. Now, after this event, I guess to an answer as a part of the answer to your question, my hope is that everyone will actually be truly inspired and encouraged that it is possible, right? In fact, last year we actually had Honorable Greg Fergus, who was the MC of this same gala, right? And now he's the speaker, of the Parliament of Canada, right? And when you do good, when your heart is in the right place, when you are able to reason, and to figure out solutions to issues, to things, doors can actually open up for you, So let's really be focused. Let's be united, and let's see the best that we can actually get to do. And I just want to say that for the gala, the tickets are actually available on Ticketmaster. Again, it's actually next week, Saturday. That's the 21st of October. Red carpet starts at 7 o'clock, and the award show at 8. It's going to be at the Meridian Arts Center, 5040 Young Street. And the tickets are just $120 plus fees, right? And there's going to be actually refreshments and food actually served, at the gala. So just come and enjoy, and it will be a beautiful one.
Excellent. Before we let you go, because I know with wife, 4 kids, global empire, how far in advance do you have to plan for this every year?
This is quite interesting because I say that the next gala's planning starts before the current one is activated. Because, it's really interesting because we have recipients of the awards that are actually nominated, and not all of them are actually recognized in the same year. So some of them are put forward to the next one, right? And then additional nominations actually happen throughout the rest of the year. And when we actually have conversations with our sponsors and so on, sometimes we actually endeavor to strike multi-year deals so that, we don't have to have additional conversations for the next one, right? So the planning and everything happens, I would say, before the one for this year is actually done, the process for the starts, yeah.
Wow. And how crazy is the voting process?
It is really tight.
Understand that.
Yeah, it is extremely tight. And one thing that we really pride ourselves about, this awards program is that every time you look at it, right, you will realize that, there's a good number of women, there's a good number of men, right? And then there's a pretty good balance between the folks from the continents, continental, let's say Africans, and then let's say the Caribbean Africans and all that as well. So it's almost like a science because we are a truly representative organization when it comes to our community. That's why the name, Afro Global basically means if you are Afro Jamaican, Afro Brazilian, Afro American, Afro Canadian, you are part of the Afro Global, family. And it's really one of those very, very unique organizations, that does such incredible work in our community and advances us, as equitably as it is reasonable.
Well, Moses, I want to thank you and Patricia and your family for everything you have done, and your team, everything you have done, are doing, and will be doing. People, it's up on the screen here, the link to read about it, and more importantly, purchase tickets. And also, if you want to know more about Afro Global in general, there's a website address, YouTube and Facebook, Afro Global Television, Instagram at Afro Global TV, X, formerly known as Twitter, at Afro GTV. So Moses, as always, I like to say, make sure you and the family and the team remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And we need to have you come back and talk about your own story, because you just gave us a little appetizer. There's a story there, my man. There's one day I'm looking to see the Patricia and Moses story on the Afro Global Network.
Yeah, in fact, that reminds me about how in 2013, we actually got a phone call from Atlanta And it was actually from the CNN headquarters to say that, look, we want to do a story on you guys. We've heard what you're doing over there in Canada. I'm like, what? I've never seen actually CNN come to Canada even to do a story on the prime minister or anything like that. And they say that they were actually sending a crew, to come and do this. So they came to our studio, went to our home in Richmond Hill, and all that, and followed us for a couple of days. That resulted into a half-hour television special that was broadcast on CNN worldwide, right? It's still actually available on YouTube, I believe, and looking at that, it's really incredible. And like you mentioned, really, none of these things can be done by an individual. You need a team, and we're extremely lucky and blessed, in fact, to have amazing people who have worked with us over the years. Many who are actually involved even currently in our print projects, broadcast projects, and so many others too. And I would like to say that if you're out there, you would like to be involved, maybe as a volunteer for the awards program, or you have skills or talents as an editor, camera person, or writer, or anything like that, please get in touch, and we'll then be able to grow together.
All right. Thank you so much. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and look forward to chatting with you, Patricia, and the team very soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah. All right. There we go. Mr. Ryan, how you doing? Okay. Ryan is having some difficulties here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Ryan off screen because his internet seems to be not behaving today. All right. So yeah, we lost Ryan again in the back room. So that's no problem. So thank you everybody for checking out today live on replay. Again, here's a link for the awards, afroglobaltelevision.com/awards. That's where you can check out more information and hopefully you can attend. So before we leave today, just some reminders, some program announcements coming up for the next few days. Tomorrow night, State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. They're going to be talking about the Israeli-Hamas war. It's officially a war now, definitely. And also they'll be talking about what's going on in the U.S. House of Representatives. Some crazy things going on there, really crazy. And right now, nothing's getting done in federal government in the United States. Nothing. It's at a standstill. So that's another thing. This Sunday, State of Things, Black Canada Talking was Cesar, Nadima Musa, and myself. And Cesar will be giving a lot of different commentary from his Black Canadian lens, Afro-Black Canadian lens, about things that are going on in Canada and in the world. Okay, let's see if we can get Ryan back. Ryan, are you with us? Okay. Your internet is okay, Ryan?
Yeah, my internet is going.
Okay. You know what, Ryan? I'm just gonna pull Ryan off because we're almost finishing. We'll talk. Him and I will talk after the show is done. So, Black Canada Talking this Saturday, 5 p.m. with Cesar, Nadima Musa, and myself. This Monday coming up, Carolyn Nicole from Energy Shack Juice Bar talking about the diabetic pandemic. You can catch it where you're watching the Morning Vibe right now, and especially in our environment, people look like us. Diabetes is such a high thing. And if you have diabetes, it leads to other things that are not good health related. Also, this Wednesday evening, 9 p.m., Dr. Alicia Watkins talking about trauma and the Black family. Trauma and the Black family. So catch that on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel. And I mentioned at the beginning, I mentioned in the middle. If you have any interest about sponsorships, brand sponsorship summit happening Wednesday, October 18th from 5:02 Eastern to 8:02 Eastern. There is a link. So especially on Wednesday, I got a very positive, productive day because I'm going to be part of that. I'm on the first panel, and then I'm going to be having a live conversation with Dr. Alicia Watkins. $23.21 US. Only 125 seats available for that price, if that doesn't sell out, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. And I'll just, again, show the page for it. And let's do this. So just let me get the page up for you, and you'll be able to see it. So here we go. Brand Sponsorship Summit. There it is. So get your tickets now. Virtual, 3 hours. Get great knowledge from people who have succeeded. Again, brands, PR execs, and agencies who hire creators. Even though most of the people, except one, which is me, is going to be based in the US, some fundamental things that you want to know if you're into. Because if I know lots of people do the loans and the grants thing and they don't get them, I'll share from my personal experience. I enjoy the sponsorship process more than the grants and loans. But if you want to find out why my lens is like that, you get in touch with me. But brands that are going to be there: Wix, Capital One, Staples, FedEx, Target, Toshiba, Crayola, Zenni. The host of this event, Mario Armstrong, he has brand deals. He has brand deals with Wix. Funny story: Mario wears glasses. Wix is a glasses company. He got a 3-year, 6-figure deal with Wix. Hello, he's done work with Capital One. He's done work with Staples. He's done with FedEx. He's done with Target. He's done with Zenni. He knows, and the people he brings on board know what they're talking about. So, like I said, speakers: Mary Armstrong, Casey Benedict, CEO and founder of Maverick Mindshare; Safon Myers, who does business with brands like Sandals Resorts and David's Bridals; Sarah Doheny, founder of YUBPR, a boutique public affairs firm; your guy here, Dr. Vibe, who has an ongoing brand relationship deal with Dove Men Plus Care. Here's a schedule: keynote, successful small following creators. That's the panel I'm going to be on, turning small into big. And I'm just on the low end. Successful, brands executive panel, fireside chat with an industry titan, bonus pitching session, pitch to win. You'll be able to pitch judges, and they'll assess the potential for brand sponsorships. There's a Q&A session. Your questions are insights. Bonus VIP session, unlocking long-term revenue, closing remarks. So if you want to get updates on things, send the letters VIP to 917-810-2347. That's Mario's text message channel. He's always sharing good stuff. And finally, 125 seats available. That's it, family. I'm going to be pumping this out on this show, State of Things, Black Canada Talking, and Monday's Morning Vibe. Plus, I'm going to do some Instagram posts, and I'm seeing if I can grab Mario for 15 minutes to probably do an IG Live. So get your ticket now, and then replays will be made as a separate purchase after the event has concluded. So if you have any questions about the event, feel free to ask me. I have a very good business relationship with Mr. Armstrong, so I would suggest you may want to check it out. He has been instrumental in my business and personal development. So I thank him and his wife, Ms. Nicole, immensely. So that is it for today. Excellent conversation. Moses rocked the house. Unfortunately, Ryan couldn't make it. So as always, you can catch replays of the Morning Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and the Ryan O'Neill on YouTube and LinkedIn. And that's it. So what's everyone up to on the weekend? I hope you get a chance if you're around 9 o'clock tomorrow night, 5 p.m. on Sunday. More Dr. Vibe, more epic conversations. All right. As we exit today, thank you so much for watching live on the replay. We've got other things coming up. Like I said, haven't been on in a week. So that was one surprise we had today about the sponsored conference. I'm working on something where myself and Ryan will need your time to do something to make the Morning Vibe Show better. So as always, I'm going to end off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And if you're watching this on a Friday and you do have a weekend, enjoy it. See you Monday or over the weekend.
Here we go.